Happy Monday, it's Kelly Nash back at it today, fresh off of watching a fantastic season finale of Mobland. Loved it. Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, Tom Hardy, wonderful actors, fantastic story, a little bit violent, a little bit too violent for my tastes, but the stories are so wonderful. So this is how I spend my Sunday night. I watch that show, and then I need a palate cleanser before I can go to bed. So I ended up watching the new Frasier, which is silliness on steroids. And so I feel great when I go to sleep. That's how I spent my Sunday night. If you're like me and didn't plug into the news, then this might be breaking news for you as well. Last night, there was a targeted terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. Thankfully, no one died in it. Although 8 were injured, 1 man is listed in critical condition. And the basic facts of the story are pretty simple. There is a group of what's described as elderly people walking. They're not in the streets, they're on the sidewalk. So it's not a march, it's a walk. And they're reminding people in Boulder, Colorado, that there's still 58 hostages being held by the Palestinians. That's the reason for their walk. That irritated an individual to the point where he went and got some flammable liquid and then used what's being described as a homemade flamethrower and a Molotov cocktail to set them on fire. All right. Now those videos, by the way, were all over X aka formerly Twitter, within like 15 minutes of it happening. Okay. So within an hour, the FBI has already begun its, initial investigation, identified it correctly as a targeted terrorist attack. And yet here we are 2 hours later. And even before I get to that, let me just tell you that MSNBC, about an hour into the reporting, described the guy as a white man. I will give you, he is a light-skinned Middle Eastern man. But if you look at his hair or you look at his face, you can tell he is not Caucasian. And it shouldn't even matter what his race is, to be honest with you. That's not the point. But MSNBC intentionally tries to mislead. Don't make it like a Muslim thing. Don't do that. Let's make it a white guy. Okay, so they're lying to you early in the game. Now, let's go 2 hours past the event. You've got Chief Stephen Redfern on the microphone, and the chief is being asked, well, look, the FBI's already said it's a targeted terrorist attack. You're not saying it's a terrorist attack at all. And listen to this pointed question and then his response.
Were words said that would indicate this had anything at all to do with that protest?
So what I will tell you, on Pearl Street, it's a walking pedestrian mall downtown here. There was a lot of people out. Very beautiful day. There was a group of pro-Israel people that were there in a peaceful demonstration. I wouldn't even call it a protest. I believe that happens frequently down here. They were there in that area. We are looking and actively interviewing victims and witnesses to determine if that group was targeted or others, and we just don't have those answers yet. Those are things we hope to be able to provide you later this evening.
Okay, look, he should be fired on the spot for that answer. You're the chief of police. You have an overabundance of videos. You have the corroboration of the FBI, and you still don't know if this is a targeted terrorist attack. And your answer is just a complete run around the mulberry bush. It's a beautiful day. Did you guys see it? It was fantastic. The weather, just gorgeous, low humidity. A lot of people are out. And so, who's to say? The guy yelling free Palestine will be free from the river to the sea, and just inadvertently bumped into a group of people who are saying, Israel is being victimized by the Palestinians. I don't know. Can you put 2 and 2 together? I don't know if we can add that all up. You should be fired, but he won't be fired because he's in one of the loony bins of America. I mean, if you're going to make your top 10 cities of looniest places, I think Boulder, Colorado makes that. I mean, obviously you got San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. That's going to be Minneapolis is going to be in there. Austin, Texas is going to be in there. And by the way, they do not elect police chiefs. They have them appointed there in Boulder. And it was appointed by the city manager who worked previously in Minneapolis, in Austin, Texas, and now Boulder, Colorado. She's the one who appointed him. So she thinks that's probably the perfect answer that you gave. There's something inside the liberal mind that will not allow them to identify actual problems if it's not a white person. I don't know why if it's a white Christian, they can quickly identify the problem. They can even quickly misidentify the problem. I'm surprised they didn't describe, again, what was his name again? Mohammed something or other, who they described as a white man, Mohammed Solomon. I'm surprised they didn't call him an evangelical. He should have been wearing, he had just taken off his MAGA hat before setting the pro-Israel people on fire. That's almost the way MSNBC would have loved to have reported. I'm thinking back to like Barack Obama when he was the president. You have this group called ISIS, or ISIL as he demanded to call it, and they obviously are talking about their religion, and that was the glue that put that group together. And he refused to call it radical Islam. It's Islam and it's radical. Why can't you identify it as such? And he says back in the day, those are not religious warriors. They are thugs and they are thieves. No, two things can be true. They are thugs and they are thieves, and they are doing it in the name of a religion. Identify the problem. If you don't identify the problem, how can you actually get to the root cause of solving the problem? You know what? I said that the Democrats would. They're not going to ruin my week. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. You know why they're not going to do it? I'll tell you why. Because Americans are finally awake. When the Democrats talk about stay woke, Kamala, stay woke. You got to be woke. I don't think their form of woke was blinding yourself to the reality of the world. Republicans and people in the center are now waking up to the reality that there has been a gaslighting that's been going on in this country for decades. It's a conspiracy of the media, the mainstream media, and the Democrat Party in order to make you think that the real problem is not the problem. The real problem is now being exposed. By the way, our friend, Mohammed Solomon, yes, he's an illegal alien. Yes, he came in during the Biden administration. Yes, he was caught by the Biden administration. And yes, they extended his stay after he was. And by the way, he's already overextended that stay as well. So he came in 2022, was supposed to be out in 2023, got an extension in 2023, was supposed to leave in March of 2025. And here he is today, months later. I guess he's decided I'm going out with a bang. Well, here you go, my man. Do you deport him? I think you deport this guy, but he gets a nice little trip to El Salvador, don't you think? All right, that should put a smile on your face. We got one more going to El Salvador.